Hey, Wolfpack and the Piggy wiki. Have you ever wondered what goes on within the files of Piggy before? What makes up the code of such a seemingly simple game? Well, I have. As a game developer, I also like looking into the files of games to see what makes up their code. And as a moderator on the Piggy wiki, I naturally have too much knowledge of this silly pig game. So today, I'm gonna make it your problem too! Here are 25 secrets about Piggy's files that you probably didn't know. Several of the skins actually have different internal names within the shop and files. For example, Tigree and Pandy uniform are known as Tigree TSP and Pandy TSP respectively, while their alternates are known as Tigree TSP underscore purple and Pandy TSP underscore green. Doggy Masked is known as Enshrouded Doggy, which is an official alternate name but not the one used in game. Moopy is known as Moop-E with an I-E, which was the name actually used in the shop for a while, believe it or not. Meanwhile, Moopy alternate is just known as Moopy. Kamosi is known as Mummy, and the alternate variant is known as Mummy Alt. Primrose is known as Pacifica, which was actually later reused for Holiday Spirit as her first name, and the giant Tio triple question mark is just known as Tio Monster. The game in general also has weird names for stuff in the code. For example, the Items button takes you to an inventory menu, traps are known as Piggy abilities, Spider Mayhem is known as Spider Infection, Penny is internally known as Peps in the True Ending files, Breakout is known as Bunker, and Holiday Spirit is known as Theater. If your game data does not load and you go to the daily quests, there's a chance you'll see a weird skin name pop up. Green Clowny was actually a scrap daily skin, as we know from images Minitube posted, but it's unknown why they're here as opposed to anyone else. Maybe it'll be added one day, who knows? Epic Tank's new collision manager works by placing a small ball part inside of your player model. I don't know much about the specifics, but it's believed that this ball is what checks to see if you can crouch and uncrouch in vents or not. I assume this because if you uncrouch in a certain position, you'll be pushed back in a way that aligns with how the ball is shaped and how big it is. The size of a build mode block is 4.5 by 4.5 by 4.5 studs. Book 1 and Book 2 actually handle cutscene sounds very differently. Book 1 stores every single sound used in-game within the GUI, including unused tracks such as end music, while Book 2 stores sound files within the scripts and loads them at specific times whenever needed. Energy in Piggy is actually stored in a value object within the player, in increments by 1 every few seconds. The game stores the energy with a maximum of 100 rather than 10, and simply divides however energy you have by 10 to display on the energy bar in the game. For example, 76 energy divided by 10 is 7.6 energy, which is rounded down to 7, which is what shows on the bar. The phone in the ending cutscene for Home has an Easter egg when viewed in the files, reading,
"You should not be able to read this, unless you look through the files. You can't hide your secrets from me."
At one point in time, there was an unused codes section in the shop tab that was intended to be used for DLC codes. Not much is known about what was here before, although the system was later reused for Piggy Hunt. It was added sometime between Book 2 and the redesigns, but it's unknown if it actually had anything inside of it between then, as it's simply a blank frame with nothing in it. Considering how other games such as Pet Simulator X have done these DLC codes, maybe we could one day see a return of DLC codes in the main game? Wink wink nudge nudge Minitoon? Tigree Adventurer has appeared in 9 total rotations, more common than any other item. The last time we saw him was in rotation 18, which was likely the cutoff date for when the build mode shop was temporarily changed to be hard-coded rotations. Assuming this was indeed the cutoff date, the chances of this happening are 6.7760362E-12, or 0.0000000000677603662%. This number is 67,760,362 10 quintillions, and is very, very small. For context, the chance of winning the lottery is only 0.000000033%. The Metallica x Piggy event actually has a decent amount of unused content within the files. For example, the menu used to look different with these lighter gradients on the buttons, the back button looked similar to the play buttons, Setting looks really different, having completely different fonts and a design. And there's also an unused minigame called Balancing, with the only remnants being this. I assume this was just an early placeholder for the tightrope minigame, although I'm not too sure. Piggy's objects actually have a few typos. For example, the folder storing the Jawbreaker materials misspells the Jawbreaker as the Jawbreaker. And also, these balloons in DK are misspelled as balloon for some reason. Why? The extras menu has been a bit broken in Book 2. The DK button used to be broken a significant amount, and would simply just not teleport the player. This is because the button to do so checked for a non-existent camera part, which broke the game's teleportation. However, this was later fixed, but in the weirdest way possible. I'm genuinely at a loss for what they even did here, because... what? Additionally, the above update also broke the button for the Hunt event, although it was later fixed. It just checked for a non-existent Book 1 main menu object, which just did not exist in the files. In the files of the game, there once existed an Advent crate that appears to have been planned for the Advent calendar. It was removed sometime during the second week, and I'm also pretty sure this was just taken from branched realities, but I can't be too sure. Silzus' model is actually an edited version of another model made by Tenuous Flea known as Catosaurus. If that name sounds familiar, it's because it's used in Apperp the Return Chapter 2. There is an unused notification GUI in the files that's actually still in the game to this day. It contains an image of Georgie's old design, saying that the player has unlocked him, in addition to 50 tokens. I have no idea what this is used for, but I assume it would have been used for quest schemes such as Poli. I've analyzed an existing decompile from when City was first released, and found that it doesn't exist there, so I assume it was added sometime during the Jailbreak collab and just scrapped later on. Strangely, the Twins alternate skin from the Advent calendar has animation data for the legs. I at first thought it was just leftovers from the already existing animations, but they were actually edited to an extent on the model, suggesting that the legs were planned to be on it originally but were then scrapped. There are 6 debug blocks in the build mode tab. The Doom Buggy is likely a test for more vehicles as has been mentioned before, a dev piano, which is a fully playable piano inside of build mode, Germa, which is a joke block often put into maps as a stamp of approval from Minitoon. Among Us is the same as above. Tutorial Map Extra is just a blank part, but it likely loads the tutorial map based on how it's completely invisible and has a script inside of it. And the dev block is likely used to test linking blocks to other things. Mr. P, Farmer, has a pupil called Pupil Beta that's actually still in the skin, and contains an early version of his infected eyes, which are red. Not too shocking based on what we know about pupil colors as a whole. It was also shown in a teaser image as seen here. I assume this was to hide his real pupil color until after the skin released. There are a total of 3 user IDs that can use the CMDR system in Piggy, those being Minitoon, Moonfall X, and Epic Tank. There are also 5 extra IDs that are -1 through 5, used for development testing. This is because whenever you load a test server in Studio, the game actually decides, let's grab negative user IDs instead. So the game actually loads user -1 for some reason, for example. I have no idea why, but Daisy, of all characters, has a text color stored in build mode. Her RGB color is 255-0-127, and her hex is FF007F. I have no idea why this is here, but I assume it meant Daisy was going to be a cutscene actor at some point. It makes sense considering she's in the ending of Factory. Build mode also strangely stores all of its older GUIs in replicated storage. The newer GUI is seemingly created through scripts as opposed to being stored somewhere, likely as a means of keeping people from stealing it. The bullies in Breakout have this weird face underneath their animal heads, and I have no idea why.
Look at the top of his head!
A lot of the testing places for Piggy have internal names that are quite weird. Piggy is known as Pencil Case, DK is known as Buns, and Intercity was the game named Finger up until recently, when it was changed to Piggy Intercity Dev Testing. Way to be boring, Minitoon. Surprisingly, a decompile of Book 2's testing place from 2024 was actually found, Likely because it's a subplace of the main game and can easily be accessed through exploits. The only notable differences are this script in the workspace and the play button being changed to say Play Testing Server, and it also being in red. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you all next time. Bye!